Buổi hôm trước mình đã nghe được 2 bài rồi.
Dạ.
Còn có cái đáp án của 2 bài này đọc giúp chị được không?
Chị ơi, chị cho em nghe lại được không? Tại
À,
em ghi
ờ,
làm mất cái tờ đáp án đó luôn rồi chị.
ok rồi, chị bật lại nhé.
Dạ.
Exercise 1. Traffic at Britain's main airports. You will hear about passenger traffic at Britain's main airports from 1990 to 1993. Listen to the tape and write down the figures in the correct column.
Manchester Airport is the third largest airport in Britain. In 1990, it handled about 10.1 million passengers, and in 1993, the number of passengers increased to 13.1 million. In 1990, Glasgow Airport handled 3.9 million passengers, and in 1993, the number of passengers had risen sharply to 5.2 million. Birmingham handled 3.5 million passengers in 1990, and in 1993 the number of passengers was 4.2 million, not a big change. At Edinburgh Airport, the number of passengers was 2,005,000 in 1990. But 1993 it handled about 2,009,000 passengers. At Newcastle Airport, the number of passengers were 1,006,000 in 1990. In 1993, this airport handled 2,001,000 passengers. In 1990, Bristol Airport handled 8,000 passengers. In 1993, the number of passengers had increased to 1,001,000.
Look at the notes and listen carefully to me. We use percentages when we want to express a number more simply. Percentages means the number of x per 100. For example, there are 50 students in the class, and if 25 of them are boys, we can say 50% of the students are boys. The percent is said after the number. 20%, 26%. We can use percent with decimals. 7.02%, not 0.51%.
Okay, do you hear clearly?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
what are your answers?
My answer about Glasgow in 1990 is 3.9 and next is 5.2.
Okay,
Yeah. And Birmingham is 3.5 and 4.2. And Edinburgh is 2,005,000 and 2,009,000, and Newcastle is 1,006,000 and 2,001,000, and Brixton is 8,000 and 1,001,000.
okay, yep, correct, thank you. Okay, for the next exercise, okay, I will play the recording. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Exercise 2. Household expenditure. Now listen to the report on consumers' expenditure in 1983 and 1993 at market prices and write down the percentage in the correct column. The percentage of household expenditure on food decreased slightly from 15.1% in 1983 to 11.4% in 1993. Alcoholic drink was 7.1% in 1983, but fell to 6% in 1993. And tobacco was 3.3% in 1983, but only 2.7% in 1993. The percentage on housing increased slightly from 15.1% in 1983 to 15.4% in 1993, and recreation, entertainment, and education was 9.2% in 1983, then increased to 10.1% in 1993. Expenditure on other goods and services showed a large jump from 13.5% in 1983 to 19.4% in 1993.
Okay, can I ask for your answers?
Can I hear it again?
Yeah, sure.
Exercise 2. Household expenditure. Now listen to the report on consumers' expenditure in 1983 and 1993 at market prices and write down the percentage in the correct column. The percentage of household expenditure on food decreased slightly from 15.1% in 1983 to 11.4% in 1993. Alcoholic drink was 7.1% in 1983, but fell to 6% in 1993. And tobacco was 3.3% in 1983, but only 2.7% in 1993. The percentage on housing increased slightly from 15.1% in 1983 to 15.4% in 1993, and recreation, entertainment, and education was 9.2% in 1983, then increased to 10.1% in 1993. The percentage of consumers' expenditure on other goods and services showed a large jump from 13.5% in 1983 to 19.4% in 1993.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have your answers?
Yes. My answer is about food is 15.1% and 7.5%, and for I don't know how to pronounce it.
Alcoholic drink? Alcoholic.
Yeah. Alcoholic drink is 7.1% and 6%, and tobacco is 3.3% and 2.7%. Housing is 15.1% and 15.4%. Recreation, entertainment, and education is 9.2% and 10.1%. Other goods and services is 13.5% and 19.4%.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Correct answers. Okay. So, we'll turn to exercise 3. Listen to the recording and write down the total numbers and the percentages in the right columns. Okay. Yep. I will start playing the recording, okay?
Yes.
Exercise 3. Migration. Listen to the tape and write down the total number and the percentage in the right column. Here are some figures about Britain's migration in 1993. There were 227,000 people who left Britain to live abroad. 25% of them left for other EU countries. 19% left for Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 16% left for the United States, 13% for Commonwealth countries, and 6% for the Middle East. 2% of them left for South Africa. There were 215,900 new residents who came to live in Britain. 32% of them came from other EU countries, and 16% of them came from Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 22% of them came from other Commonwealth countries, and 8% from the USA. 3% came from the Middle East, and 3% from South Africa.
Okay, do you want to hear it again? Or it's okay?
I want to hear it again.
Okay, yep, here's your second attempt to hear this. Okay.
Exercise 3. Migration. Listen to the tape and write down the total number and the percentage in the right column. Here are some figures about Britain's migration in 1993. There were 227,000 people who left Britain to live abroad. 25% of them left for other EU countries. 19% left for Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 16% left for the United States. 13% for Commonwealth countries, and 6% for the Middle East. 2% of them left for South Africa. There were 215,900 new residents who came to live in Britain. 32% of them came from other EU countries, and 16% of them came from Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 22% of them came from other Commonwealth countries, and 8% from the USA. 3% came from the Middle East, and 3% from South Africa.
Okay, are you ready?
I want to hear it again.
Yep, okay, sure.
Exercise 3. Migration. Listen to the tape and write down the total number and the percentage in the right column. Here are some figures about Britain's migration in 1993. There were 227,000 people who left Britain to live abroad. 25% of them left for other EU countries. 19% left for Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 16% left for the United States. 13% for Commonwealth countries, and 6% for the Middle East. 2% of them left for South Africa. There were 215,900 new residents who came to live in Britain. 32% of them came from other EU countries, and 16% of them came from Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 22% of them came from other Commonwealth countries, and 8% from the USA. 3% came from the Middle East, and 3% from South Africa.
Okay, you have your answers now?
I don't have all the answer. Just one. Yeah.
Yep, which one are you missing?
The percent of other EU countries in immigration to Britain.
Immigration to Britain. Okay, so I'll play that part on. Can you say again? Are the EU countries in immigration to Britain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or New Zealand. 16% left for the United States, live abroad. 25% of them left for other EU countries, Australia, Canada, or 900 new residents who came to live in Britain. 32% of them came from other EU countries, and 16% of them came from Australia.
Yeah, did you hear that?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay. What are your answers?
My answer in total number of immigration is 2000, 2020, 7 million.
Yeah, are you
And
sure? Okay. I will play that part on again.
Exercise 3. Migration. Listen to the total number and the percentage in the right column. Here are some figures about Britain's migration in 1993. There were 227,000 people who left.
Okay. What is the number again?
227 million.
Yeah. It is 227,000. Okay. Yeah. What is the percentage for other EU countries?
I think it's 25%.
Yeah, 25. Next for Australia, Canada, and New Zealand.
19%.
Next.
Yeah, it's 16%.
16%. Next, please.
Is 13%, and next is 6%, and the last one is 2%.
Yeah, okay. Great job. And what about the immigration to Britain?
The total number is, I think, is 2.
Yeah, do you want to listen to that again?
Yes, I want to listen to that again.
Commonwealth countries, and 6% for the middle, left for South Africa. There were 215,900 new residents who came to live in Britain.
Okay, do you hear the number?
2,015,900.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, for about the EU countries in immigration to Britain, what was the percentage?
I think it's 32.
Okay, 32.
32. Yes. And the next is 16%.
16.
22%. 22%, and then 8%, 3%, and 3%.
Okay. Yep. There was a small trick in this exercise. Okay. I will play the part about the United States and Commonwealth countries in immigration to Britain again.
32% of them came from other EU, came from Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 22% of them came from other Commonwealth countries, and 8% from the USA.
Okay, do you hear that?
Yes.
Yep. They did not read the percentage for USA and Commonwealth countries in the right order. They switched a little bit. Yep. So, what was the percentage for USA again?
For USA is 8%. 8%.
8, yep.
Yeah.
And Commonwealth countries?
Commonwealth 3. I think it's 3.
Yep, 3. No, really? The USA was 8, and the Commonwealth countries, okay. Yep.
22% of them came, and 8% from the USA. 3% and 8% from the US, and 16% of them came from Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 22% of them came from other Commonwealth countries.
Okay, what was the number again?
Can you hear it again?
Yep, I'll play it again.
Australia, Canada, or New Zealand. 22% of them came from other Commonwealth countries, and 8% from the USA. 3%.
Okay, do you hear that?
22.
Yep, 22. Okay. Thank you. Yep, 22. Okay. Yeah. Next here, there are two pie charts. Okay, like the last exercise we practiced for the writing part. Okay, please look at the pie charts and you will listen to the short interview about earthquake. What you have to do is write down the percentages that you hear. Yeah, in this blanks. Okay.
Okay.
Exercise 4.
Yeah, sorry.
Exercise 4. Interview about the earthquake. Look at the pie charts and listen to the short interview about the earthquake. Write down the percentages you hear. Last May 2001, an earthquake hit Nanaimo. We did some research on the local people about their feeling about earthquakes. We asked 2 questions. The first one was, do you feel that local schools are adequately prepared for an earthquake? 28% said yes. 32% of people said that they didn't know. 40% said no. The second question was, do you have an earthquake emergency kit in your home? 32% said yes. 4% said that they were not sure. 64% said no.
Yeah. Is that okay for you, or do you need to listen again?
I want to listen that again.
Okay. Yeah.
Exercise 4. Interview about the earthquake. Look at the pie charts and listen to the short interview about the earthquake. Write down the percentages you hear. Last May 2001, an earthquake hit Nanaimo. We did some research on the local people about their feeling about earthquakes. We asked 2 questions. The first one was, do you feel that local schools are adequately prepared for an earthquake? 28% said yes. 32% of people said that they didn't know. 40% said no. The second question was, do you have an earthquake emergency kit in your home? 32% said yes. 4% said that they were not sure. 64% said no.
Okay. Do you hear it clearly?
Yes.
Okay. What are your answers for the first pie chart?
The first pie chart, I think is 28% say yes. 32% is say they don't know, and 40% say no, and then
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Second pie chart.
Yeah. Second pie chart is 32% say yes, 4% they didn't sure, and 64% say no.
Okay. 64% say no. Yeah. Thank you. Just a little reminder. Okay. For the not sure part, you don't use the do. You don't use do.
Yeah.
You use the be to be. I'm sorry. Yep. Is are was for. Okay. Next. Yep. Still the same. You will hear about a British trade in 1993. Right. There are blanks showing that there were percentages missing, so you will have to fill it in. Okay.
Exercise 5. British trade. You will hear a talk about British trade in 1993. As you listen, write down the percentages in the appropriate places. Look at two pie charts below. They give you some information about British trade by geographical distribution in 1993. The left pie chart is for exports, and the right one is for imports. Now let's look first at the left pie chart, the exports pie chart. You can see the European Union took a big proportion of Britain's exports trade in 1993. It accounted for 53%. The other countries took 15%. Oil exporting countries took 5%, and other developed countries were 4%. North America took 14%, and other Western Europe countries took 8% of Britain's export trade in 1993. Now let's take a look at the right pie chart, which is for imports. The distribution here is similar. The European Union took 50% of Britain's imports in 1993. The other Western Europe countries took 12%. North America took 13%, and other developed countries took 7%. Oil exporting countries took only 3% of Britain's imports. The other countries took 15% of Britain's imports.
Okay, do you want to hear it the second time?
Yes, I want to hear it. Again.
Yeah, okay.
Exercise 5. British trade. You will hear a talk about British trade in 1993. As you listen, write down the percentages in the appropriate places. Look at two pie charts below. They give you some information about British trade by geographical distribution in 1993. The left pie chart is for exports, and the right one is for imports. Now let's look first at the left pie chart, the exports pie chart. You can see the European Union took a big proportion of Britain's exports trade in 1993. It accounted for 53%, and the other countries took 15%. Oil exporting countries took 5%, and other developed countries were 4%. North America took 14%, and other Western Europe countries took 8% of Britain's export trade in 1993. Now let's take a look at the right pie chart, which is for imports. The distribution here is similar. The European Union took 50% of Britain's imports in 1993. The other Western Europe countries took 12%. North America took 13%, and other developed countries took 7%. Oil exporting countries took only 3% of Britain's imports. The other countries took 15% of Britain's imports.
Okay, do you hear clearly?
I don't hear it clearly. I missed three answer in the first chart.
Okay, in the first chart. So I'll play the first chart again.
Exercise 5. British trade. You will hear a talk about British trade in 1993. As you listen, write down the percentages in the appropriate places. Look at two pie charts below. They give you some information about British trade by geographical distribution in 1993. The left pie chart is for exports, and the right one is for imports. Now let's look first at the left pie chart, the exports pie chart. You can see the European Union took a big proportion of Britain's exports trade in 1993. It accounted for 53%, and the other countries took 15%. Oil exporting countries took 5%, and other developed countries were 4%. North America took 14%, and other Western Europe countries took 8% of Britain's export trade in 1993.
Do you have your answers?
Yes.
Okay. What is the for what are the answers for the first chart?
Yes. For export, European onion is 53%. For other developed country is 4%. North America is 14%, and other Western Europe is 8%.
Okay, what about the second one?
The second one, European onion is 50%, and other Western Europe is 12%. North American is 13%, and other developed country is 7%.
Okay, yeah, just a small reminder. This one is read as European Union. Alright? Yeah, that's all. Okay, we finished lesson 13. Okay, give me a minute. I'll turn on the 14. Oops. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, lesson 14. We will practice speaking skills. Okay, yeah. Topic. Okay, the topic today is about your hometown. What is this? Oh, familiar. Okay. Yep. These are the frequently asked questions. The first question: where do you come from?
I come from Bình Dương province.
Okay. Can you describe your hometown?
My hometown is a big new city. There are a lot of factories in my hometown, and but I think my hometown is so boring because there aren't any like places of interest to visit.
Yep. Or you can say like there aren't any entertaining places. Yep. Or just simply interesting places to visit. Okay, thank you. Next question. Do you know something about the history of your hometown?
Actually, I didn't have any information about history of my hometown.
Yeah. Okay. So after the lesson, please just like search on Google the history of your
Yeah.
hometown. Just some bits of information. Yeah. Just in case this question can be asked like anywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. What is the weather like there?
The weather is also is usually like hot and sometimes had rainy. It
Yeah.
is rain.
Yeah. Sometimes it is rainy. Okay. Next question. Okay. Are there any interesting places I can visit? Okay. Yep. My advice for these types of questions is that if you don't know the real things, the things in reality, like the history or the interesting places, if you don't know any in your hometown, just make up some. Okay. The judges only need to hear the fluent answers from you.
Yeah.
They don't really need the correct information. Okay, you just make up anything. You think of anything. Yep, and just make them up. Yep, the judges will not notice. Okay. For example, the history of your hometown. You can say like, my hometown has like a famous general or something. Yes, just make some stories up. Okay, and for the interesting places, you can think of like some malls or some a famous beach. Okay, you don't have to mention the name. Just say that there are famous beaches or um, like there are forests. Yep, or mountainous areas you can visit near my hometown. Yep, something like that. Okay, so think of this. The answers for this question. Are there any interesting places I can visit? Just make something up. Okay, so what is your answer for this question?
I think if you if you can visit my hometown, you should go to Đại Nam Park. It is one of famous places of interest that you can miss when you go to my hometown because there that is a beautiful place with a lot of trees and some animals in that park.
Okay, what do you miss the most about your hometown?
The things that I miss the most about my hometown is people because people in my hometown they are very friendly and um, they are always welcome when you need help. Yes.
Okay, yep, the last question. Can you compare your hometown with big modern cities like Beijing?
Um, can you they I actually I don't understand it clearly.
Okay, the meaning of this question is that how is your hometown different or like the same with the big modern cities like Beijing? You make a comparison between your hometown and the big modern cities like Beijing. Think of the
Yeah.
differences or think of the similarities that your hometown and Beijing share or like have in difference. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Mm, Beijing is um big city in China, so I think the big difference between my hometown and Beijing is about the mm, like facilities of everything. Because Beijing is big modern city, but my province is just a big, it's just a new province. So um, there aren't there aren't like a lot of modern building and modern facility like uh, Beijing has. Um, yeah, I don't have any idea.
Yeah. For these questions are in the part one of your
Yeah,
speaking test. So you
yeah,
only have to say about like 3 sentences. Yep,
yeah,
that should be the right amount that you should say in the part one. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. This is sample. When they talk about their hometowns. So I will be Wang Xiao and you'll be Li Chen. Yep.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, and after we read this sample, yep, I will play the slide again, and please notice the frequently asked questions And if there are any interesting structures that you see and you want to learn, okay, you can write them down or speak up.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
first, let's start. Hi, I think you're a friend of my friend Yang Yuan.
Yes, I know Jiang Jun. How do you know her?
Yeah, I work with her. How about you?
I met her at the swimming pool. We both love swimming.
Okay, where do you come from? I mean, where is your hometown?
I'm from the northeastern part of China, Changchun, the capital of Jilin province. And you?
Well, I was born in a small village outside of Hangzhou, but I also grew up in Hangzhou. It's a couple of hours away from Shanghai.
Yes, I've heard of it before. It's quite famous. Definitely a place on my to visit list. What is the weather like there?
It's probably not as cold in the winter as Changchun is, and hotter in summertime. We don't get a lot of snow, but there is a rainy season. How's the weather in Changchun?
Well, cold, of course. In the winter, many people think it's cold in Changchun all year round, but it's really hot. The summer are really beautiful. Not too hot, about 30, 32 or 33 degrees.
Wow, I didn't think it would get that warm there. Maybe I should go and see Changchun next summer. Are there any interesting places I can visit in Changchun?
Yes, there are a couple of places I would highly suggest that you visit, but the best time to come is in the winter time. They are skiing on the Changbai Mountains, skating along Songhua River, and a special ice lantern sculpture festival too. Did you know that Jili is known for its deer uh, antler? Yes, antler. You know, for me, medicinal. I don't know how to pronounce.
Just leave
Medis.
that one there and keep going. Yeah, after we finish that, I will give you the notice of these two words. Okay.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, I could go on and on about my hometown. What about Jiangsu? What are the interesting places to visit? I bet there are a lot of tourists each year.
Yes, Hangzhou is usually full of tourists. Everybody knows that the area around West Lake is really beautiful, and there are a lot of famous sites there too. You should see the West Lake during the moonlight. It is so beautiful, especially during the Autumn Moon Festival. I really miss my hometown.
Me too. There's really no place like home. What do you miss the most about your hometown?
You mean besides my mother's cooking? Well, I suppose it would be walking along the West Lake during a misty morning or a beautiful sunset. What do you miss about Changchun?
My family. I have a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins live in Changchun. I'm the only one who lives outside of Changchun.
Wow, I can even imagine being on my own like that. Sorry. That must have been really hard at first.
Yes, it really was. When I first moved to Beijing, my cousins were really envious. They thought that Beijing were obviously better than Changchun because it is the capital of China. In fact, I thought so too at first, but now I don't think that as much.
What do you mean?
I mean that there are definitely some similar, similar
Similarities.
yeah, similarities, like both are modern capital city, but as a center of education, cultural, and politics, Beijing is definitely more exciting. There are many opportunities to grow and learn, like living in Beijing. Uh, you can easily watch a variety of international standard performances and you will be better informed.
But it sounds like you think Beijing is better than Changchun.
Let me finish. There are definitely more abilities in Beijing, but I still think that Changchun is a much friendlier place. People are not so busy and their lives are not so hectic. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Do you think Beijing is a better place to live in than Hangzhou?
No, not really. I think that Hangzhou is much more beautiful than Beijing. In my opinion, Beijing is developing too rapidly, so pollution has become a big problem. You know how people complain about all the cars on the road too. Traffic jams are so common that if you don't meet one when you're traveling, you feel that something must be wrong. Another thing about Beijing is that there are many modern buildings, but the city has lost some beauty. Much of the history of Beijing is hidden now after lots of the old houses were demolished, except for some of the tourist sites.
Uh, that's the same. What about Jianghu? What kind of history does Hangzhou have?
Hangzhou was founded about 2,200 years ago in the Qin dynasty. It was also the capital city for the Song dynasty and it has always been famous for its natural beauty. Now Hangzhou is known as a place for silk and Longjing tea.
Um, you convinced me to go. I'll first to visit Hangzhou someday soon. Say I've got to go, so I'm sorry we didn't even introduce ourselves to each other. I'm Lee Sen.
I'm Wang Xiao. I've enjoyed chatting with you.
Thanks, me too. We'll have to get together another time.
Okay, yes, definitely. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, yeah. We'll start from the first slide. Okay, are there any words or like structures that you feel interesting or hard to understand?
Um, no, I don't have.
Okay, next slide. Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, I think that here. Sorry. Yeah. A place on my to visit list. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that this can be like an interesting structure, an interesting sentence to reply to someone when they talk about their hometown. Okay,
Yeah.
next. Alright, are there any words or structures?
Uh, I think is medicinal
Yeah,
purposes. I
um, it was pronounced as medicinal. Yeah, medicinal.
yeah.
Medicinal
Medicine.
purposes. Medicinal. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Its purpose. Yeah. It is to cure illnesses. Okay. Any other words or structures?
I think is uh I don't have.
Okay. Yep. Next slide. Yeah. What about this slide?
Um, I think is demolish.
Yep. Demolish. Demolish. Its meaning is like the old houses were demolished. Có nghĩa là cái ngôi nhà nó sẽ được gỡ xuống, sẽ được hủy, sẽ được gỡ xuống. Right? They were destroyed. They were taken down. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Is that the only word in this slide?
Yes.
Okay. What about hectic? Do you understand the meaning of hectic?
No, I forgot it.
Yeah, hectic is the adjective that is like some place full of activity. Yeah, for activity or like for example, their lives are not so hectic or their lives are not so busy and so fast. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For the last one.
Um, I don't have.
Okay. Yeah, just notice this structure. Hangzhou is known as a place for something. Okay, you can use that structure to describe about your hometown. For example, Bingzhou province is known as a place for famous for the famous park, something. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. We will talk about the useful words and expressions. Okay. Can you read the first column here for me, please?
Yeah. Close to, next to, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest.
Okay. Do you understand like these words and the directions of the okay. Next column please.
Club, convenience, service, service,
Service.
transport station, well equipped.
Yeah. Well equipped. Okay. Are there any words in this column that you need me to explain?
No, I don't have.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next column.
Um,
Ambitious. Yeah,
ambitious,
ambitious. Yeah.
ambitious. Um, average height,
Yep.
height,
Average. Okay. Average.
average height, build, um, energetic,
Okay. One more time. Energetic.
energetic,
Yeah.
friendly, helpful, kind-hearted, open-minded, reserved, clear, cloudy, fair, foggy, humid, rainy, shower, stormy, stunning, and windy.
Okay. For this word, it is pronounced as kind-hearted.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind-hearted. And here the height. Don't forget the T sound in the end.
Yeah.
And the last one, this word is pronounced as shower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any words that you don't understand?
I don't have.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. The useful sentence structures. My hometown, name of the city, province, is located in on some location. For example, central Vietnam, the north, the south of Vietnam, etc. For example, my hometown, Hải Phòng City, is located in the north of Vietnam. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Next, name of a city, province is a beautiful place with the special features. For example, a long shore, a lot of paddy fields, a high mountain to the north, a flowing river to the south, etc.
Yeah.
For example, Hải Phòng City is a beautiful place with the red phoenix flowers and the famous beaches. Okay. Yeah, these structures are quite easy for you. Next, the weather in the name of a city or province is usually
Yeah.
the adjectives. Okay. Name of city or province is famous for something. For example, Hải Phòng City is famous for the red phoenix flowers. Name of city province is more than something.
Yeah.
For example, Hanoi City is more crowded than Hải Phòng City. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is all. Okay, so here's a small exercise for you. Using these suggested phrases below, make statements about hometown. Okay, you can add any words you want as long as the sentence makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. You. We will do the first 5 sentences, then we will end our lesson today.
Yeah. Okay. My hometown is Huế. It's located in central of Vietnam.
Okay. Don't forget the in the central of Vietnam.
Yeah, in the central of Vietnam.
Okay. Next, number 2.
Um, there, it is a beautiful place with many famous historical sites.
Okay. Correct. Number 3.
The weather of Hanoi is usually quite cold in the winter.
Okay. Number 4.
Da Nang is famous for handmade kites and the Kite Festival.
Number 5.
Ho Chi Minh City is hotter than Nha Trang.
Okay. We still have a little time left. Okay. So please do the last 5 sentences. My
Okay.
hometown.
My hometown is Dong Nai. It's located in the south of Vietnam. Đà Lạt is a beautiful place with a lot of hills.
Okay.
The we-
When you see the lots of, okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Don't leave the word out. A lot
yeah,
of and lots of have the same meaning.
yeah,
But yeah, the word here is not necessary. Okay. Number
yeah.
8.
The weather in Đà Lạt is usually uh, the weather in Đà Lạt is usually the most beautiful in spring.
Okay. Number 9.
Hanoi is Hà Đông is famous for silk.
Yeah. And number 10.
Ho Chi Minh City is more modern than Tiền Giang province.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.